Hello, class. I hope this finds you well. I'm in my bedroom and I'm trialing out how we can continue to do fun music things from wherever you are, with hopefully a piece of kit that will allow you to access this. So we're using a website called flightnote.com. So that's, sorry, noteflight.com. Get it right, noteflight.com, and it's a free piece of kit software that you can use to create scores of music. Now, although this is very early on in my thinking, and then it might kind of change or develop as we go on, my intention is for you to compose a piece of music that you are basing from an existing film clip, video game clip, TV show clip, that you will later on explain in more detail, that you can then hopefully send me a clip or the link, or tell me what the clip is so I have an idea of what you're composing to. Similar to work we've done in year 7 and 8, only this is going to be you notating the work down, and creating a score, not just simply using something like GarageBand, for example. You're going to be notating this music down. And this website, Noteflight, is really, really good for that. So once you've signed up, which is really easy to create an account, it didn't take me very long at all. It is free, like I've said. You might have to check your junk email for email confirmation. But once you've done that, you will essentially get something like what you're seeing on your screen now. So creating a new score. So you want to click on Start a Blank Score Sheet. And then hopefully in a second that will load up. Brilliant. So on my screen now, I have what you should be seeing or will see eventually. And there's lots of information here to quickly give you an overview as to where to find things and how things should look. So where my mouse is, if you can see that I'm kind of clicking on this little tab menu. And along that side there, I've already got a few things that are ticked: the score, duration, pitch, tempo, text, measure. These are all what are at the top here. If I wanted to click on rhythm, for example, rhythms will appear. If I wanted to click on ornamentation, ornamentations will appear. So it's probably good to not overcrowd things, only have things that you need out. But that's where you find all the things that can edit your score. So if you think, oh God, I've just got rid of something, like for example, if you do this, where my mouse is now, all of a sudden something's disappeared, duration's gone, you can find it again on here, and you can find that information there. You've got pretty regular things you'd expect to see, such as playback functions and record. You've got a keyboard function. So a keyboard appears here. So you can actually see what the notes are. You can gauge what pitch the notes are from a keyboard, if that helps you. You'll see there's a treble clef symbol, there's a bass clef, so that determines where certain notes might go depending on what you want to do. So that's really useful. And really, I kind of want you to just play about with this to begin with. Give me feedback. If you think it's kind of working for you, fantastic. And if not, then I'll rethink what we can do. Parts, so if you click on parts at the top, it should give you the option of adding different instruments. So at the moment, this is score for a piano piece, but if I wanted to, I could add a part. I could look for different types of instruments. It's quite a broad range of instruments there, and I could add that to it. So I might add a guitar. I can rename it if I want to. Click OK, and there's my guitar there. Okay. So how I actually input information. Well, at the moment, if I kind of hover over the bars, you'll see that a note is giving me the option of inputting a note. So I can do that. Okay, I can click multiple times. These are crotchet notes at the minute. Pretty simple. Playback. Brilliant. Now, if I wanted to change anything with this, say I didn't want that to be a crotchet, I wanted that to be a quaver, I can go to my duration, so my note lengths, and I can go to, let's call it a quarter note. Sorry, my eighth note, there we go. Do the same again. Oops, there we go. So now when I play that back, I can change the pitch by using either the mouse or by scrolling up on my keypad. I can do the same there. Okay, go across to the next bar and I can do the same again. Type in my information. Okay, and then underneath that, I might want to add some bass notes. So again, depending on what key you're in, you might have to do a bit of research into, if I'm in the key of C major, what notes are going to fit, etc. That's part of being a composer. There will be a research that you'll have to do, and that's part of this learning process as well. So if I'm going to stay in the key of C, choose my bass note. I might even make a chord with this. Let's see if that will allow me to do that. There we go. And again, sometimes it can be a little bit kind of trial and error until you get it right. There we go. So now I'm going to play that back. Whoops. Not quite a C major chord there. Brilliant. Now if I wanted that note again, whoops. If I wanted to change my duration of notes, make that last longer, there we go. So that's going to last for the whole bar now. Brilliant. I might want to do the same here. Let's have a look and copy and paste, so I can click on that area. I can copy, so either Command and C on your keypad, and then Command and V on your keyboard, usually just the job. And then I can simply, now I've got that highlighted, move that down. So I can change the chords through editing it that way as well. So you don't have to physically input everything every time. Okay, starting to feel like it's part of something. Now guitar. Just add away. And you start to get an idea of how this can be really useful. And give it a title. I could call this Mr. King Jam. Okay, not very suitable, but oh well. Mr. King. If I had lyrics, I could add lyrics to it. Subtitle, this might be part 1. Oops. And that is pretty much where we're at with things at the moment. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this is something that I'm going to work on throughout, this might be, I don't know, you might call that the piece of music that you want to be basing it around. It might be inspired by Lord of the Rings or James Bond or Jaws. I'd like you to link it as best as you can. That's the whole point of this, really. When you're happy with what you've done for your session, click on Save. So that will save. And then to see your scores, okay, you can go to Show Details. Gives you a bit more information there. This is where it can be quite useful, but I'm probably not going to bombard you with sharing your work just yet. So I might leave that for another time. This is basically how I get to see your work through sharing your score, but I will talk about that later in a bit more detail. If you go to where you've got that kind of semi-brief symbol, it gives you a lot more options to see what you've already created. So recent scores, here's my recent one, Mr. King's Self-Isolation Concerto. And this is what I created earlier. Just to see if it'd be appropriate for what we're doing today, and I think it might be. I think this is something we could trial. So hopefully this video's worked. Hopefully what I've kind of shown you on the screen has given you an idea of how to use things. Please get in touch if you have a question about how to use things, but it might be more of a thing for you to just trial, experiment, try things out. It might take 3 or 4 attempts before you start to get used to it, which is absolutely fine. It took me a while just to get my head around it, as it's a website and has its own little quirks. But yeah, see how you get on. I would be really interested to know your feedback, and if it's something that you think is useful, something that is different to just doing written work or answering questions and listening to music, this could be our sort of practical alongside it. Okay? Thanks for watching. Hope you're all well. Take care.